Alright. I had such low expectations going into this movie. I really did think that it was just going to end in this huge train wreck, clusterfuck disaster like Ghost Rider. I truly thought that this was going to be the worst comic book film made since Ghost Rider. I pretty much figured since Marvel was responsible for making such an awful, terrible film on a character no one gave a shit about, I kind of figured it was DC's turn. Turns out I was only half right. So, no. By no means should you get me wrong and think that this is a good movie. No, I am not saying that. It is okay movie. It is not terrible. It's okay, but it's not really good either. But just not a complete train wreck. So, the story, as irrelevant as it is in these kinds of movies, starts off with Jonah Hex serving in the Civil War. He was fighting for the Confederates. Now his general, who plays the bad guy, played by John Malkovich, kind of turns out to be a bastard and starts murdering civilians, and that doesn't really sit well with Hex, and then he goes and turns him into the Union side, and then they go and kill him, and then they betray him, blah 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 blah. So then his general got all pissed off, and then pretty much killed Hex's entire family, made him watch it, branded his initials on the side of his face. Local native tribe saved this day, and now we can talk to dead people. Pretty much it. Nothing else to say in that regard. Nothing really important to mention. That's basically it. Simple, run and gun action flick. One of the kind of the movies that you just sit back and just turn your brain off, forget about the ridiculousness of the film, the overtop action, the inaccurate weapon designs. Fuck all of that. Turn your brain off, sit back and enjoy it. You'll have fun. That's pretty much it. That's the movie. Not much else to say. But there were some good points and some bad points. The high point was definitely the character of Jonah Hex. He was played by Josh Brolin, who actually did a lot of really good movies. He was Bran from The Goonies. I know you guys remember this guy. But he also was in the movie W, No Country for Old Men, Valley of Elah, and also appeared in American Gangster. Now, the guy knows how to act, and he carries the movie quite well, and he is one of the only reasons to go see this movie, because he does do a good job with the role, which surprised me. I mean, given the subject matter and the character's origins and stuff, I really did not think he was going to do nearly as good of a job as he actually did. Now, John Malkovich also. High point. He plays a good villain. John Malkovich is such a good villain. Now, he played a really great, career-making villain, just awesome job in Con Air. Now, he's also done some pretty bad ones. You guys remember Aragon? I doubt any of you saw it because it was pretty terrible. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. It's terrible. But, yeah, that was definitely the low point of his villainous career. So, he's a standard action villain. Big surprise. No surprise twists. Nothing else to speak of. Unfortunately, the screenplay didn't add a whole lot of depth to Malkovich's character, which is really unfortunate because it didn't really live up to, let's say, his performance in Con Air. But that's mostly because the script didn't give him much to work with. But he still does a good job playing the villain that the screenplay allowed him to be, I suppose, is the correct way to word it. Now, also, the direction. The director, Jimmy Hayward, actually did a pretty good job. Yeah, I know. I was really I did not see that coming. Now, he was an animator in the early Pixar films. He did Toy Story 1 and 2, Monsters, Inc., Bugs Life, and Finding Nemo. An animator. The only other directing role that he ever played was in Horton Hears a Who, which I really did not like. I'm just not a big Dr. Seuss fan, I suppose. But he actually did a really good job. I mean, he was showing you something. He was showing you the action going on without using too much of that shaky cam bullshit or that swinging around Michael Bay camera and that plagued all of the Transformers movies. Now I talked about a few of the good things. Now to pretty much the only terrible thing about this film. Megan Fox. I know. Big fucking surprise. She is not a good actress. People keep paying her to act, and I have not seen that yet. She is a talking pair of tits on screen that holds no talent, no relevance. No one cares that she's even in movies anymore unless she's willing to take her top off. Like the last movie she was in, Jennifer's Body, I know a shitload of people saw that because she whipped out the twins. Don't lie to me. I know you fucking did. But her acting ability aside, I sat through the Transformers movies and I lived with it. I dealt with it. It's not something that I liked, but it was in the background enough that I could ignore it. But the thing is with this movie is that she tries to fake the accent, which was horrible. Her southern accent is so bad. I really don't know why they even bothered trying to shove that down our throats. Not everybody that lived out west in this point in time was a fucking Confederate southern accent speaking redneck. It just didn't work that way. People were migrating from all over the place. Most of the people that lived out west were migrant laborers from China and, I shit you not, Ireland. So it would have made more sense for her to fake one of those accents, or just get some hot Chinese actor to take her place and do a fucking better job of it. So, anyway, her accent is atrocious. It's seriously, listening to drowning puppies is more pleasing. It's terrible. So, yeah, after that little rant, it's hard to say that this movie's good. It really is. It's a stretch to say that it's good. But it's a fun, turn your brain off kind of action flick. If you can watch Commando and Shoot 'em Up and maybe even the A-Team movie that came out, seriously, give this a look. It's not nearly as good as any of those films that I just mentioned, but it's worth a look. It's just sit back and just vegetate for an hour and a half and try to ignore Megan Fox as much as possible. So, guys, one side note, guys. Seriously, if you wanted to see this movie because Megan Fox is in it, because you think she has a nice rack and you think she's hot and would be fun to see on the big screen, cut that shit out. Seriously. Stop throwing your money at this chick. I mean, it's seriously like giving money to a stripper without getting a lap dance. It's so bad. You're paying her to act, and pretty much all you're getting is just shit after shit after shit. She has never done a good movie, any kind of movie, where I thought she did even a mediocre job. She is terrible at what she does. So, seriously, if you wanted to see it because she's in it, go to Google Images and save yourself $7.50. Just seriously, cut that shit out. So that's really all I have to say. If you like the action flicks, give it a look. But seriously, you don't need to see it in the theater. You can wait until it's on DVD and just Netflix it. But it's an okay film. It was well directed, and for the exception of Megan Fox, actually had some pretty good acting in it. Now, that's all I gotta say about the movie. Give it a look if you feel like it. So, I'll catch you later. Oh, seriously though, have an awesome holiday weekend. See you next time.